Hi everyone, I have read your final lesson plans and have posted feedback in the rubric for your review. You all did a really nice job with these. It was very interesting for me to read your different approaches based on your setting, whether you were in an academic setting, teaching at an associate degree level or a bachelor's level, or whether you were in the hospital teaching groups of patients. All of you did a really nice job. This is a complicated assignment, and I know if you're thinking about going into an educator role, it can be a little daunting to think, do I have to go through all of this every time I decide I'm going to set up a new course or a new lesson plan? The longer you do this, the less arduous a lot of these pieces and parts are. You'll know the best strategies that work with your population. You'll have an understanding of what your own teaching behaviors are, the reason you choose certain assignments versus another. You'll also be more comfortable with designing assessments. So you'll know the right format to do a pre-test as well as a post-test. You'll know whether you need to be using the knowledge level of Bloom's or whether you need to be using the application level of Bloom's, depending on your population. All of that comes with time. So know that if you feel a little panicky and feel a little daunted by the thought of having to do this every time you teach something, it does get easier, and a lot of the things that you were asked to use pen to paper and explain are going to become intuitive, or not things that you're going to sit down and write every time you develop a lesson plan. I will encourage you that no matter how long you're teaching, that you're disciplined in sketching out your teaching plan before you walk into any teaching setting, so that you're at your best and that you're the most prepared possible, so your students have the best opportunity to learn the information that you're trying to get across to them. The best laid plans are really in the best interest of our patients, our patients and our students, depending on who we're teaching. For next week, you've got a lot of moving parts going on. First, I'm going to remind you that your course evaluation is out there pending. I am grateful for your feedback and look forward to getting that feedback from you. I do value it. I do read them all, so I do appreciate you taking the time to do the course evaluation. You're going to be finishing up your last practicum log. I'm going to encourage you to go back in and read the feedback from practicum log 1 and 2. Make sure that you've integrated that feedback as you move towards your last practicum log. This one's worth 100 points. So know that if you're making a mistake that's been continuous at a 25-point practicum log level, that it's going to become exponentially a bigger issue when you move to something that has a higher point value. So be disciplined in going back and reflecting on that feedback that you were given. I want to encourage you that before you start or before you submit your practicum log 3, that you go in and evaluate your time log. Make sure that for each day that's in your time log, that there is a corresponding entry into a practicum log. When you post your practicum log 3, make sure that the dates line up with what's in your time log as well. Your total time log for 618 should be 50 hours. Make sure when you go in, you calculate those hours, that they're calculating appropriately, and that your shift total column, which is the roll up of all your hours for this course, are totaling 50 hours. And if they're not, make the changes that are necessary. You also have a Typhon link that's going to let you do your preceptor evaluation as well as your self-evaluation. I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you go into your email, your Liberty email, and make sure you have those links. If you do not, please contact Faith Sterling and ask her to resend them. All of your evaluations, your self and preceptor evaluations, as well as the evaluation that your preceptor will do for you. All 3 of those are done in Typhon. It is your responsibility as a practicum student to reach out to your preceptor and remind them that you need to have them complete that preceptor evaluation. So it's your responsibility to chase that one down and make sure that it's been done, and follow up with your preceptor. If any of those evaluations are missing, I cannot post your grade for the course, so you will wind up with an incomplete until they're done. So I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you get those done earlier this week rather than later. The last thing you have to do is your paper. You have your role development paper. And this really is probably one of the more important reflective exercises. We really are asking you to take some time to think about where you are in your journey towards developing your knowledge base for being a nurse educator. One of the key steps to this assignment is asking you to do a self-assessment. And I've had several of you ask, well, what do I use for an assessment tool? I'm going to encourage you to use your nurse educator competency book. Your NLN does the best job of offering you the blueprint for knowing whether you have achieved competency in a nurse educator role by delineating those in this book. I want you to spend some time thinking about each of the competencies and being honest with the self-assessment of where you are in that process. If you're not in an educator role, it's quite possible that you are at a very low novice level, and that's okay. We're not asking you to be fully proficient and successful in each of these roles, just that you know where you are, that you kind of take a pulse of where you are in that journey. It is our hope that once you have completed the Master's of Nursing Education and you've had practical time in the classroom teaching, that you'll be prepared to take the Certified Nurse Educator exam. But you have to have the didactic stuff from us in your coursework, but also the practical side through employment. So those two things should set you up for pretty good success. So make sure that as you're talking about your competencies, you're addressing the knowledge piece as well as the practical piece. I think that is it. Heavens knows that certainly is an awful lot to wrap up. The other thing I want to remind you, and I did put this in your weekly announcement, was that I have family coming in this week, so I'm going to be busy this weekend. I am not going to be grading your work. So I have extended your deadline. Instead of the Friday at 11:59 p.m., I've extended your deadline until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Please know that all of your Typhon assessments, your practicum logs, your time logs, as well as your role development paper, all of that needs to be done and posted in the course at 11:59. That is the absolute latest that I can accept anything. And anything accepted after the course closes, there's no way to post it late. It simply can't be accepted. So make your efforts to get those things posted in the course on time so you can earn credit for the work that you've done. I have enjoyed getting to know you. I look forward to knowing how you are and being a support if needed. Know that I'm praying for your success, and I look forward to wrapping up this course with you and seeing you on your way to 619. Touch base with questions or concerns. I'm here.